Hello, it's me. It's James, the guy in the booth, in my booth, but no, with no special things because this was something that I wanted to do without having to put things together. Also, there was very little space at the moment because this is being used as a workspace, so I can't really touch much. It's fine. I've touched lights, and that's about much. I haven't touched much. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I've been gone for a while, and I come back and I come out straight with that. I'm so sorry. Anyway, moving on. It won't surprise you to know what I'm talking about today. The news came out overnight from CinemaCon that there is going to be a new Ghostbusters sequel. I am so excited. You cannot believe it. Um, what they said is very, very specific. It is a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife. So we are following the 1984 original Ghostbuster thread. What that means, I have no idea. But I have a few things that I want to say, what I want to miss, what I don't want to see, we'll see. Look, it's just been announced. The script's probably on its own, barely on its first draft, second draft. It's probably nowhere near being completed. Not that that will matter because it will change so many times. But Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel, Ghostbusters 4, if you want to call it that, or for the pedantic of you, Ghostbusters 5, because you consider the video game canon, even though it's really not. Although the pandemic did force it to become canon, in date wise, anyway. But let's talk about it, shall we? So this new sequel is going to be set in New York because that's where Ecto One is, and that's where the containment unit is, and that's where the containment unit was left, blinking at the end of Afterlife. After Winston did his lovely speech about bringing it home, Winston's now a success. This is going to be a Winston Zeddemore managed thing, and more about Winston in a bit with the next bit of news. But we were left with that shot of the containment unit flashing. Ecto One's just pulled into a beaten down and not a Starbucks firehouse because someone had sandbagged Ray. Ray didn't go to that area of town. But yes, speaking of the firehouse, hello, firehouse, hook and ladder, NYC, Ghostbusters logo. Get this on Zavvi. But I genuinely am very, very excited about this film. I'm so thrilled to where it's going to be going because if it's back in New York, are we going to get a bit more of a traditional Ghostbusters film? And I'm thinking we might, purely because there are things that point in that direction. Number one, we're back in New York, and Ecto One's back in New York, and the containment unit looks like it's about to explode. That's a very good starting point. Let's see what happens with that. But you've got Winston, who Ernie Hudson's now in his 70s. You've got Dan Aykroyd, who's 70 now. Bill Murray, who's 72. Will Bill Murray even return? I just don't know. There's been some news about him recently, which might mean he might not be the best person to work with anymore, which makes me sad. But I don't want a film focused on Ray and Winston. I want Winston there throughout. And my theory is that Winston's going to act more like an Egon in Extreme Ghostbusters. The older hands guiding the new blood. And if that new blood is McKenna Grace, McKenna Grace, Finn Wolfhard, somehow Carrie Coon's going to fit in there somewhere. Celeste, I've forgotten her surname, but having these guys in there as your new Ghostbusters, maybe with a bit more of a father figurehead and Paul Rudd, if he comes back for the film as well, we just don't know. And that's what's the next year and a half until we see a trailer is going to be all about. But what I would like to see in the film is I want to see a bit more of a return to the comedy roots. There was good comedy in this film. Some people didn't like it. A lot of people did. But there was some excellent comedy in it. There was some excellent moments in it. McKenna Grace showed some good comedy chops. Finn Wolfhard showed some good comedy chops. They all did show some comedy chops in a slightly different way. Not a laugh out loud sort of funny way. And it wasn't as quotable as the original film, but nothing will be. There's a handful of films I consider to be quotable, and Ghostbusters Afterlife just can't compete with that. But if they go down a route of what they've previously done, that's fine. And my reason for thinking that is because with the unfortunate passing of Ivan Reitman, wherever you are, Jason Reitman, the Reitman family, thoughts on love will obviously go out to you, but if they're going to embrace this as a legacy film for Ivan Reitman, I can't think of a better way to do it than what is arguably his biggest financial or commercial success. The work that he's known best for, despite the fact you look at his IMDb and you just go, oh, 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 oh. He did a lot of great stuff, a lot of amazing stuff in the 70s and 80s, and some terrific stuff in the 90s too. He he is a legend. He's an icon of fans to worldwide, and I would love to see this be. We did a legacy film for Harold Ramis. Let's do a legacy film for Ivan Reitman. Let's embrace what he did in his films. Get fans of his who are now writers inspired by his work to write the scripts. That would be amazing, and give it just that slight adult edge, slightly more adult edge than we had before. I don't need to see this big because Jason Reitman teased at the time that he would like to explore the Vigo story a bit more. There are other ideas you could do with Vigo, an origin story. That'd be amazing. A prequel, sort of like a hyper extension of the Ghostbusters universe. Let's look at the Vigo story, Vigo the Carpathian. Let's just look at this. Yeah, Vigo the Butch. Let's do it. Let's maybe not call it Vigo the Butch. Just call it Butch. Or just Carpathia, the Vigo story. No, okay. I'll write the screenplay and I'll send it to Sony and see what they say. But you know, this is a cracking opportunity for the film to garner more fans. What they tried to do in 2016, bit of a leap, but what they tried to do in 2016 was generate the franchise again for new modern day fans. And what they did with this previous film is they made a very, very lovely film that casual fans will like and big fans will adore. But then you are subjecting kids that didn't grow up watching this film to a movie that is good to watch, but they won't get half the references of why Egon Spengler was so important and who the Ghostbusters were. And I don't want them to retcon Ghostbusters 2 into their story by having it be about Vigo. If they did make it about Vigo, Peter McNichol has to be in it. There we go. I've said it, it's done. But this is all just wild speculation right now, which I am okay for, I am good for. And that's my piece on this. I'm very excited about it. But other bits of news thrown in, Ilphonics. Ilphonics have given us some footage. We have got Ernie Hudson doing some voice work as Winston. Whether or not they've worked in conjunction with Sony Pictures to actually kind of not do too much that might be too similar to this sequel, I don't know. But this game's been in production for well over a year now, and it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. The graphical style is a little bit more cartoony than I was expecting, but I'm okay with that. Let's just see what the gameplay is like. It's the gameplay that I'm more focused on, because the video game, the Ghostbusters, what some people call Ghostbusters 3, it isn't, because there's a lot of things that happen in that get basically erased because of Afterlife. But let's see. I just want the gameplay to be good. If the graphics are a bit shonky, that'll be a shame. But if the graphics are good and the gameplay is solid, then it's going to be an entertaining game. Just make sure you can't complete it in a day. I want it to be something that I keep coming back to, and then I can go back and replay. I want replayability, and I want the ability to be able to play it well. But also, speaking of video games, Quest 2 have announced the launch of Ghostbusters VR. It's all very exciting. This all happened sort of relatively recently. The VR game came out over the week. Announcement came out over the weekend, and the footage of that's very cartoony. But it's VR. They can't do much with the graphics. They've got to make sure the 3D world is rendered well. I get all that technical stuff. So, you know, I'm good with that. Let's see what that does. I'm not going to blow £300 on a VR system just to play one game. If someone I know has a VR and the game comes out on that, I will happily go hard with them on the game. Who knows? Who knows? But I'm going to wrap this up there. 10 minutes seems like a nice round number to be doing this for. But You guys, it's been a long 2 years. We had a great film that did very well, and we will get more. That is the brilliant thing. So, I've been James, the guy in the booth, with my floating head, with no frilly lights this time, just because I didn't want them. And I'll see you again, probably for more videos. Maybe I'll bother to put some lights up next time. Who knows? But be good to each other, and just don't cross the streams. I can't emphasize that enough. Ta-ra!